So you're working on your next big thing, whether that's your next book, video, or whatever it is that you choose to make, and you want it to stand out, maybe even go viral. But it's really hard to do that whenever you don't have a bunch of money, a bunch of experience, or at least the time to experiment to get things just right. It's frustrating, and I've been there, and I'm actually there now. But I'm here to show you how you can start strong with a plan for success in the long term. My name's Zachary, and for a little over a year now, I've been writing books and doing short form content, but now I'm doing a strategic shift over to long form content. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly the tools that I use, the processes that I have, and how you can pick apart my strategy and make it fit just for you. So if that sounds good to you, stick around to the end where I have a freebie for you there too, and make sure to subscribe for whatever comes next. As a quick note, I have affiliate links in the description for a lot of the stuff that I mentioned in this video. If you use one of those links, I do get a small commission, but it's at no extra charge to you, so use those if you want. First up is the equipment, the gear, the hardware and the software that makes all of this that I'm doing right now possible. You don't need a lot of money or material to get a professional-ish type of appearance. The setup that I have right now costs under $150, and you can get by with far less than that, so don't think this is going to break the bank. First up, what you need is video capture. You need a decent camera. Now, what I'm using right now is actually my Samsung S10e. It's, I think, a 4-year-old smartphone at this point. So if you have a smartphone with any type of decent camera, which is really anything in the last 4 or 5 years, you probably have more than enough to get started, as long as you have the patience to make it make sense for you. So let's chalk that one up as zero extra cost. Nothing extra, no extra money spent so far. The first thing that you're going to want to do though is get some good audio capture. The microphone on your phone is not a good enough quality for you to be recording unless that's your type of style, then sure, go for it, but probably what you're going to want to do is invest in something a little more higher quality. The first one that I did was a wired lavalier microphone, one of the lapel mics. That thing captured audio at a very high quality, at least compared to the phone. It was good enough. It cost about $9. The thing that I didn't like about it was I was still tethered to my phone, and the way that the cables bunched up, I always had something tugging down on my shirt. I didn't like that. So what I ended up doing was going with a wireless lavalier mic set. So this actually comes with the one that I have down below and here in my hand. 2 microphones is what it comes with, which is perfect for interviews and on-the-go stuff. So you're not tethered to your phone, you can move around and have a more dynamic type of approach. What I've found with either lavalier microphone is attaching it about this far away from my mouth. Let's see if you can see that. Yep, so right about there. I found that typically captures good audio quality, good quality audio, that one. The next thing that I did was I spent about $10 at Walmart. So microphones, 20 bucks. This, 10 bucks. And the clamp on this one, it did come with one. I'm just using it right now on this arm right here. Anyway. You're going to want a tripod for tripod stuff. It costs about 10 bucks at Walmart, super cheap, good investment. What I found out pretty quickly was that I wanted a better source of lighting though. Now I have an adjustable light that clamps onto most surfaces. It also has a universal screw. It does warm and soft lighting, so that's nice. It just doesn't have a diffuser. It's pretty basic, but it gets the job done. That one costs about 20 bucks and you'll find a link for that below too. So far we're at about $50. And if you're good with a lavalier microphone and you don't want a condenser like I have now, 50 bucks all in, that's it. You don't got to buy any new software. You don't have to purchase any licenses or anything like that for editing. You can get by with $50 easily. But I decided that I wanted to do something more. I wanted better equipment. So the next thing that I invested in was this condenser microphone here. Now, because of the program that I got this through, I will simply say here on this platform right now, this is the one that I use. And if you like the way that this sounds right now, you can find a link to this for this same product in the description. It costs about $80, I believe. It comes with the microphone, a cable to connect, and an articulating boom arm. It clamps onto my desk. I can't pull it into the screen. I don't want to mess up the shot, but it clamps into the desk. It's a pretty silent, very sturdy arm. If you like the way this sounds, go for it. One quick note on the microphone. I strongly recommend that you have a boom arm for the microphone. I would not recommend getting one that sets on your desk. And the reason for that is because every time that you touch your desk, literally place your wrists on the desk, whenever you type, you move your mouse, anything that happens on the desk is going to carry right through into the microphone and then eventually right through into your listener's ears. So I don't recommend getting one that sits on your desk right in front of you. get one that has a boom arm, ideally one that doesn't clamp onto your desk. Perhaps I find that this works just fine. Just don't do one that sits right in front of you on your desk. So this one, if I recall correctly, 80 bucks. So altogether, all in, 130. I can do math. 130 bucks. All in for the whole recording setup. Now, as far as hardware goes, I have one more thing on my wish list, and that is an actual softbox light. Those can run anywhere from 50 to 100 bucks, and certainly they go a lot higher too. What that does though is if you have a softbox, it's basically a big bright light bulb that goes through a diffuser. It's in what's called a softbox. It makes the light softer on your face or whatever it is that you're drawing attention to. It's a better lighting system is all it really comes down to. I just don't have it in me to buy that just yet, and frankly I think this is good enough. And especially whenever you're getting started, good enough and just doing the thing is what really matters. So here I am. There's one last piece of hardware that I would recommend that you get, and that is a clamp articulating arm set for your desk. I have one that's adjustable into 3 different sections. I'm actually using it right now. It's very, very adjustable, and it actually goes high enough so I can get nice overhead shots onto my desk. I love this thing. It cost about 30 bucks. So I mentioned a moment ago, all in was 130. Psych, 160. But you don't need all of this stuff. Frankly, you don't need any of it. If you're comfortable enough with your phone, then just use your phone. I'm just giving you options, and this is breaking down my setup. Now, as far as software goes, I use OBS Studio, which is a free software. And I use that for streaming, and I'll be using it for a number of other things, I'm sure. For recording, I actually use just the native camera app on my phone. I know there are other options, but that's just what I'm using. And it's a funky way that I have it set up so that I can see what I'm recording and make sure that it's set. I use TeamViewer to remote into my phone on my PC. It's a weird workflow, but it's the best thing that I found that works for me that gets reliable results. I found that recording in OBS Studio gave me consistently choppy video. The audio would typically be fine most of the time. The video was almost always utter trash recording in OBS Studio. So I just use this arm set here that clamps into my desk, set everything up, native camera app, and then TeamViewer so I can see what I'm actually doing. For like video editing, I edit in CapCut. I choose to use the desktop editor because I find it has a much more user-friendly user interface, in my opinion. They have a lot of their features, are moving behind the paywall, but they still have a really robust free offer. I have an affiliate link for CapCut in the description below. Use that if you wish. And for idea capture, for structuring my ideas, whether it's videos, books, products, services, whatever, I use Notion for all of that stuff. They have a free and a paid tier as well. There's an affiliate link below, and you can find that there in you guessed it, the description. Anyway, that's the gear. That's all the equipment, hardware and software. Pick what you want. Don't leave what you don't. That's fine. Let's move on to the idea process. Now, I'll have other videos where I break down my process for books, articles, and other stuff, certainly, but here I'm talking about my shift in video strategy. So my video idea process starts with the first of 6 steps, 6 key ingredients that I've decided are going to go into every video that I make now, and surely for the rest of my time doing this. I start with the title and the thumbnail. These two kind of go in tandem because they are so closely related. They're meant to convey a good point. They're meant to be enticing, concise, and complimentary. I start with whichever one comes up first, whichever one comes easier to me. If I have an image in my mind that represents an idea that I want to expand on, I'll start by making that. I might sketch it on a notepad so that I can get the idea, and then I'll go into my software, which I use Canva for thumbnail design, and I'll start piecing something together. If I have a title, then I'll just start there. I'll work with the title, I'll get it to what I want, or at least what I'm comfortable with, and then move from there. Just remember that the title and the thumbnail are supposed to complement each other. They're not supposed to repeat each other. They're supposed to be related to each other and build directly up to the video that your viewers ideally click on. The very next step after that, though, is the hook and the setup. Now, much like the title and the thumbnail, the hook and the setup I find to be very complementary, or at least so closely related that I tackle them basically at the same time. But again, whichever comes more naturally to me, I will do that one first. The hook is meant to exacerbate the pain point. It's meant to really paint the picture of why somebody should listen to you. Keep in mind, though, that on most social media, you have between 5 and 7 seconds to really capture somebody's attention, to hook them in and keep them watching more and more and more. It's even less on a short form platform like TikTok. I think it's seriously like 2 seconds you have to capture somebody's attention. So good luck. The title and the thumbnail get them to click. The hook gets them to watch for more than 5 seconds. Immediately after the hook though, you need to set up the rest of the video. You hook them in and then you set the stage for the rest of the video. You lay out the path to what you promised in the title, the thumbnail, the hook, and what you're going to deliver in the rest of the video. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The next step that I move into is the loop. Now, the video in my mind creates one big loop, but you'll have a series of loops in there ideally for each point that you have. The thing about loops though, whether it's a single point or the whole video, don't deliver on the promise right away. Hear me out. So imagine your favorite YouTuber and you watch one of their newest videos. And what they do is they say, hey, I did this. All I did was A, B, and C. That's it, I'm done. And it was about 30 seconds. If it wasn't a short, and even then, you might be left really disappointed. There's a lot of storytelling that goes into making a good video. What you want to do is exacerbate the pain point. You want to paint a picture, whether that's through exacerbating the pain point, highlighting the benefit, or just telling a compelling personal story. Whatever it is, add something there to build desire, to know, to learn what's at the end of this loop, to see how you close the loop. Just like you hook somebody in and then you set up the whole video, you have to tell the story and build interest to make them really want it, to make it really stick. And you should be doing this for each individual point too. At best, in my opinion, you call back to the hook in the setup to close that loop out and then move on to the next one. Which, speaking of what's coming next, the last thing that I tackle is the description. This comes at the very end for me because I know how I'm initially presenting my idea to the audience. I know exactly what I have. It's not just an abstract idea. It's not just what I think I want the video to be like. I'll actually have the video. Whether it's edited or not, whether it's ready to go live right now or not, I know actually what I have. I know what I'm really going to present to you, the viewer. And that's whenever I work on my description. You really need to be concise with this stuff though. Don't worry about writing an article in the description. If you were going to write a transcription, then just write an article. Don't explain the whole thing. That's why you made the video. Keep it to about 50 words maximum describing what the video is, but tailor it to your niche as well. If people are used to 2 or 3 words even, then just do that. Maximum, I would say, is 50 words. Similarly with links, with the exception of videos like this, where I have a lot of products and services that I'm recommending, for my links, my personal links, which I do have a couple down there, you'll notice there are only about 2 or 3. Your personal links should be limited. If somebody clicks on your description, even if you have the best video and you have the best offer hidden in your description, if it's hidden amongst 7 paragraphs of text and 3 dozen different links, they're never going to find it. They're going to see that wall of words and give up. So be concise on this. Be very thoughtful and careful, and whatever you want them to see first, whatever you want them to see the most, put that at the top. And just like the title and the thumbnail, put your best stuff first. 2 last things on the idea process. Really be patient with yourself. This, especially whenever you're starting out, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to take some time for you to get to a point where you feel not even that it's good, but just that you're comfortable with putting this out there. This is, I think, my 3rd time recording this video. And the first 2 times were admittedly because there were technical difficulties. I found that the recordings were stuttering and stuff after I recorded them, but I also just didn't feel good about them. So it's okay if it takes time. It's going to. And you're very likely gonna feel iffy about some of the stuff you do throughout the rest of the time doing this. I'd be surprised if you don't. So just be patient and be graceful towards yourself. The last thing on this part, embrace AI as a tool. I didn't mention it in the equipment that I use because it's not really equipment, but it does fall more into the idea process for me. I prefer to use ChatGPT and Claude for things like idea refinement and idea generation. I'll also give thumbnail concepts and ask Claude more often than not to critique it and give me, as unbiased as a machine possibly can be, unbiased feedback. Ideally, you can find somebody else though, a real person, whether that's on Discord or Reddit, or it's somebody else in person, like friends or family, that you feel comfortable bringing this stuff up to. Find somebody to get feedback from. It helps whenever you have a machine too. It's always there for you, that's just ready to give stuff back and forth. But enough on that. Last up, the strategy. So my strategy comes down to 3 different sections for me: niche, brand, and platform. Starting with niche, you need to know what you're about more than your audience does. I'm making this first video about content strategy. If my next video was about anime, you might not watch. If my third video was about finance options, you really might not watch. I need to be consistent about what I'm doing, and I need to know, and in order to do that, I need to know what I actually am here for. Which means you need to know what you're going to do and what you'll continue to do. Whatever you're going to do, it needs to be sustainable, something that you really care about. It doesn't mean you're going to be doing this forever. It just means that you shouldn't go too broad or too niche. Unless you have a really niche interest, then go for it. But if you want to grow an audience, maybe grow a business, maybe earn some profits or revenue off of this, don't go too broad, don't go too niche. You should know your audience, know what they like. Ideally, you're a part of this audience, so you can know what they don't like too. It'll help with idea generation and making things that actually connect. It'll be easier to connect if you're part of that group of people. Whether you are in that audience or not, you should really know who's at the top of your niche and who's in your immediate competition in the niche. Who's above you and who's around you. Because what works for them will likely work for you too, and what they're missing may be your next golden opportunity. I'm not saying to copy them and to just be exactly like whoever's above and around you, but there is something to be said about stealing like an artist. Next up is brand. Nailing your niche is part of your brand, but it's only part of it. People expect you to do a certain thing, but they also expect you to do it in a certain way. What way that is completely up to you. What colors do you use? Do you use logos? How do you speak? How do you present yourself? Do you address the audience directly? Do you change your setting? All of these things build a regular expectation of you, what you do, and how you do it. Whatever type of content you end up doing, whether it's instructional, vlogs, or humor, whatever it is, however you do it, just make sure it's genuine, and then you can really keep it consistent. Because if you're putting up an act and you break character once, people are going to notice that. And if you broke it once, you're probably going to break it again. So just be you, be real. Not only is it good for you, it's good for your content too. Last thing is that you should know your platform. Now, each platform is going to vary, often wildly so. You should understand what success is on your platform as well as what success means to you. Now, you could be doing this for vanity, for money, for recognition, or for a different purpose. Any one of those is fine. Just be honest with yourself. There's a level of vanity in what I'm doing. I want more people to see my stuff because I do sell products and services. I want people's money. That's fine. But I also want to help people. I want to help people make better content. I want to help people make better books. I want to help people realize and achieve their creative potentials and desires. On the language health side, it's much the same, but as far as language acquisition and personal improvement goes. So yes, I want to help people, but in order to do that, I need people to see me, and I would like people to give me money for this stuff too. Be honest enough to recognize that those are the reasons, and just because you want people to see you and maybe you like money, that's not a bad thing. It's okay. And then when it comes to your platform, again, understand what success means on the platform. If you're somewhere where posting 3 to 4 times per day is what's best for the algorithm, but you don't have it in you to do that, then don't do that. Don't let an algorithm run your life. You may have your own reasons, you should have your own reasons for doing this stuff. One of those reasons should not be to appease the TikTok or Facebook algorithms. All that's going to do is burn you out a lot quicker than you could ever imagine. And there's no sense in spending so much time and energy stressing about things that you simply cannot control. Just gauge your expectations on the platform based on what you can actually reasonably and consistently output. So the goods, the process, and the strategy, take all of what you want. If you found this helpful, then you might like the marketing plan that I have for sale on my page. Right now it's on a huge discount. You can also book a call with me. Right now, for the first few clients, I'm doing them for free. So if you want to book a call with me and talk about strategy from beginning to end for you, let's get together. But maybe you just want this free stuff. You have my gear, you have my process, you have my strategy. Take what you want, leave what you don't. I go over this in greater detail in the Content Creators Checklist, which you can get completely for free by following one of the links in the description. Check the top one first. And whatever you do, just be sure to do something. If you want some more information in the meantime though, see what I've been up to right about here. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.